Welcome back to episode 28 of the Triathlon Preview Show. We're here for another week of racing.
Hey, everybody. Happy Memorial Day. A little early.
Holiday weekend coming up. So hopefully everybody will have a great weekend. Maybe we'll be able to watch a little Ironman racing since we had the South American Championship this weekend.
Yeah, it's the only thing really going on. There's nothing in North America. And then um, I don't even think there's any 70.3s in Europe of note. So we're just talking about Brazil.
Yeah, we'll go over a couple picks last week because I think me and Emily on our high horse right now that I think we did pretty good. So we'll go over 70.3 Chattanooga for the men. Emily had Kinley, Appleton, Bosted. I had Kinley, Wharf, and Appleton. Um, Obviously, the finish was Kinley, Appleton, and Tutikin. So Emily nailed 1, 2, and I had 1 and 2 on the podium. And I think Wharf did not even start the race.
Yeah, and neither did Bosted. So we both had kind of the same thing, just different people.
So not too bad there. Moving over to the women, we had Jackson, Magali, and Miranda finish top 3. And I had just had 1 and 2 flip flops. So I had Mags, Jackson, and then Miranda. And then Emily had Mags, Barnett, and Jackson. So
Yeah, Barnett was in that top 3 for a little bit, but faded towards the end. So, I mean, it was solid. I think it was a close race among the top 5, except for Jackson was way out in front.
yeah, definitely. And then we had Ironman Lanzarote
Lanzarote, I think.
last weekend. Obviously, the finishing positions were Thomas with the win, 2 for 2 Ironman, Jan, and then David McNamee. And I picked Thomas for the win. McNamee I took second, and Jan, so I had second and third flip-flopped. Emily had Jan first, Thomas second, and Timo Brock third. So 2 out of 3 for her on the podium.
Yeah, they were running like that for a while. I think, the top 5 were all really close. I think it was like 6 minutes, and Chris Beard snuck in there for 4th, had a great Ironman debut. So that was good to see. But it was exciting racing over there on that island.
Yeah, what do you think about let's talk about that real fast just because I know we got a little shorter episode this week. Thomas, what do you think about Thomas taking down Jan?
I think obviously I think Jesse's a great athlete and he can get it done, and that course really suited his strengths. I think Jan is probably in a different space right now as far as in shapeness. He's coming off that calf injury. He is really peaking towards challenge Roth to try to get a world record. So I think, not that Jan doesn't want to win and wouldn't go for the win, but he might not have been in that peak shape. And I think Jesse was in really, really good shape and really focused on this race. And Jan also had that technical snafu in T1, I believe, like his helmet, the straps came undone or something like that. So he was stuck in T1 for 2 minutes or something, fiddling with that. I mean, that might have not have changed anything. But I think come like July and October, I think Jan will be in a different place. Not that Jesse won't be either, but like everybody was like, "Oh my God, Jesse's going to win Kona." It's like, well, okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No, yeah, I think this was a completely different race just for Jan and Thomas independently. But Jesse also, I mean, he wrote it on his blog. Look, his 2 wins, Wales and here, those courses can't suit any other athlete better, basically, than him. I mean, with the hilly bike course, technical, hilly runs. I mean, it fits to his 100% to his strengths, and he said it. And he said Kona is a completely different battle. And like you said, Jan is his main focus is Roth or obviously the World Championship back in Kona. So
yeah, and just one thing on that whole Kona thing, I think it's awesome if Jesse gets to Kona or whoever gets to Kona and like you just race your own race. If you don't get caught up in that, like, I got to be in the lead bike pack. And if I'm not going to be there. Like 75% of the guys in the lead bike pack DNF or blow up. So it's like, if you do your own race and stay strong all day, like you're going to be picking people off the last 10 miles of the run. And I think that that's something that Jesse is really good at. Like that
Yeah,
is a
agreed.
strength.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't get caught up in the bullshit, like, and I think it might be good that he'll come out of the water, maybe not with the huge group, and he can just kind of like ride, you know?
Yeah, agreed. You can't get caught up in what everybody else is doing, and all you can do is race the best race you can, and then you see where you fall. I mean, obviously, you might make a decision here or there if you to maybe go with a pack or not go with a pack, but if you race your own race, you're probably going to come out ahead, 95% of the time.
Right. It's like, like they just freaking hammer all the way up to Javi. And then it's like the front guys, it's like not really hammering for them. Like it's their pace, but then they're dragging other people along with them. And then those people blow up. So it's like, well, that's great for the front guys. Like they eliminate their competition in a way, or they eliminate the numbers, like it whittles down. So I don't know, just my thought. Like, I think everyone needs to get over the I got to be in the group thing. Like, fuck the group.
All right. So yeah, picks. We also are going to we have actually it's our running fantasy contest for Ironman Brazil is already up and running. This is part of the season long championship for Ironman championships. So yeah, this will be your third opportunity this year. Obviously, you've already had South Africa and Texas. This will be Brazil, and you'll have two more opportunities, and then plus your Kona points. So get on that. Check it out at www.fantasytriathlon.com.
Awesome.
All right, let's just move into the little course information and get this rolling.
Yeah. So the swim is an ocean swim. It's 2 loops, and the swim course is shaped like an M. So there is a little bit, sometimes people go a little bit off course because you could accidentally aim for the wrong buoy. It can be a little wavy out there, a little turbulent, and the water temperature is right around 70. So we'll probably be wetsuit legal for the pros. 71.5 is the cutoff. So if it's a little bit warmer, then they'll be in skin suits, but most likely wetsuits. The bike course is 2 loops, and this is the description. The bike course has 2 fairly flat loops, with the exception of 4 major climbs and descents in each flap. So,
That doesn't sound flat to me.
no. So I don't think it is flat. Maybe they're shorter major climbs. I don't know, but there's some climbing, so that'll soften up the legs a bit. And then the run course is one 13-mile loop that does have a big hill. I've seen pictures of it, and then 2 6.5-mile loops that have some rolling hills in them.
Sounds like an interesting course, just from the sighting issues possibly in the swim, and then the flat but not flat bike, and then a couple steep hills in the run, but then some rollers too. You get a little bit of everything in this course. It sounds like.
Yeah, I mean it's usually a fast course. I mean, we've all seen the videos of big bike groups on the bike. The pros do start 10 minutes before the age groupers, so there is a little kind of probably intermixing, and Brazil is always known for some fast swimmers. So I know some of the age group guys get up there. So hopefully it won't impact the women's race too much. And then, yeah, I think the bike course can sting, and then that hill on the run course I know is a bit of a doozy.
All right, let's start with the women this week and start talking about them. The list is about 16, 17 deep, which right off the bat to me seems a little. I mean, as far as there's only 16 females on the list for a championship race. 10 get paid, and some pretty big points towards the top. I think top 5 get above 2,000 points. So yeah, the only update we have on the start list is Kirsty John is not racing. She was in a bike accident.
Yeah. I mean, I think people you have to look out for is like Lucy Zelnikova. She's a really good swimmer, so she's usually out in front, but she hasn't been riding and running that great. So I don't expect her to kind of factor for the win. But, towards the beginning of the race, you will probably see her up near the front, maybe joined by, Laura Wassner is usually a pretty good swimmer. And she was fifth here last year. So that's someone else that could be in the mix. But I think you got to look to probably Liz Lyles and your defending champion Monticelli might be duking it out towards the end on the run.
Yeah. I thought I saw was Vanessa Rawl off this list?
Yeah, she's not
She's
on
not
it
there, so
anymore. Yeah. And then, I mean, someone else is number 75, Maureen Hoof. She is last year she had the fastest female bike split by about, Liz Lyles biked 454 and Hoof biked 451. But Maureen has a tendency to blow up a little bit on the run, and she only finished seventh last year. So I expect to see her kind of out in front. Actually, oh, whoops, Asa Ludstrom had the fastest bike last year, but she's not racing this year. Um, so I think it will probably come down to the run. I mean, Monticelli set a run record last year. She wasn't great like a month ago in the Palmas 70.3, but I feel like I saw some pictures on Instagram that she suddenly became very cut up as far as like lean. So maybe she's in better shape now.
um Caitlin Snow is racing. Interested to see her because I think she'll kind of be there all day. She'll be, not too far behind the swim, but not too great. She'll kind of have a, okay bike and then an okay run, more of the consistency type. Um, Whereas Montecillo, she'll kind of be far behind in the swim and has going to bring her back. She's going to have to bring herself back on the bike and on the run.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see kind of what form Kate Snow's in. She had a good Ironman France last year, and then Kona wasn't good, and she was okay at New Orleans earlier, like a month ago or a little 6 weeks ago. So I'll want to see kind of, don't know what her form is. I mean, she definitely has the talent to have a good race. It's just wondering where she is. I think she's had some life stuff going on. So don't know. I mean, if she runs the way she's capable of running, like look out for sure. And someone else I was doing some research is number 66, Guter. I'm not even going to try to say her first name, Frades. From Spain. She won Ironman Vichy in August of last year and ran a 3:05. So she's someone I think that could also be moving up on the run if she runs that way again. So she's got some talent, and she was fourth at the ITU Long Distance Worlds last year as well. And then another good runner is Kristen Moeller, number 71. She's done like really well at Frankfurt, kind of running people down.
And she's
So
actually even further back out of the swim than most, I think.
yeah, yeah. So she'll be moving up all day, and I mean, it'll, I guess, aid her in a way. Not that I'm saying she's going to be drafting, but she's going to have people around her all day on the bike. So that's just good as far as just you don't kind of get lost in your pain. I guess you kind of have carrots out in front of you, so that might help her out.
Is is Tyne Hole still racing, or is she out too? I think I might have a non-updated list.
No, Tyne just won Lanzarote last week,
That's right.
so she's not on the list. I mean, you always got to look for the Brazilian girls. These are their home course, so they're going to be ready to go. Like I don't know much about Bruna Mann, number 61. She might be, I mean, you just might get some surprises. And Brooke Brown, she must be a new pro from Canada. So someone else making a name for themselves and getting some money and some points, maybe. I
Yeah,
mean,
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, definitely, I think there's gonna be some females making a name for themselves. I mean, you saw Texas this year. A couple girls, make a breakout, race per se, and get some big points for Kona. And I think that opportunity is possibly here again because you might only have one or two girls, that are far better than everybody else. But if one of them falters, I mean, your top five spots are open for anybody.
Yeah. And I think someone like Liz Lyles, who was second here last year, and she's kind of had a slower start to the year. I think that's good, though. I think she might have over raced a bit last year, and I think she took a long break and she was, fitter for Wildflower, and she's going to be another month fitter for this. And she knows this course and she knows how it works. I think it's her comfort zone as far as that's concerned. And I think she's one of my favorites to take the win.
All right, let's move on and talk about the male list then.
All right.
So right off the top, I think Brent McMahon stands out as far as the favorite. Obviously has a couple 2 sub 8 hour Ironmans.
Yeah, and I think maybe 2 or 3,
Two or
wasn't he
three.
sub 8 in Arizona at the end of the year last year too?
I think that's correct.
Or
So two twice at Arizona.
I think he was sub 8 here last year. I think it was a fast year. I have the results right here. He was just barely um 3rd last year. I mean, it was close between the top 3. Yeah, he was 7:56 last year.
So obviously he's obviously back. Have a couple other people that might not be racing. Chris McDonald, we just saw he was in Colorado and he raced Texas, so he could have just been on this list in case anything happened with Texas. And I think that's about it. But as far as other names, Tim Don's on the list. Um, Mano Chuchi.
Oh, is it Mano 9? Whatever. Yeah. Um, he won no, I'm sorry. Stefan Schmid won Cozumel at the end of the year. That's someone to look out for. He's number 31, but Fortaleza in Copenhagen is what number 4, Gil Herme won. So, he's racing at home. I mean, that's always good motivation. And he's won a couple Ironmans, so he's definitely not bad. And he's on that Team Bravo, that Coca-Cola thing that Tim Don's on, and
Mm-hmm.
Paul Matthews is on as well.
And Paul Matthews is racing here.
Yeah, so they probably have some good support and things like that. So I think that'll help them kind of put their best foot forward as far as that's concerned. And I mean, McMahon is kind of the favorite. He had a good race in St. George, not great. I think he ended up getting a bit cold. He's a smaller guy, so I think the cold might have affected him a little bit more than others. Not that he did bad, he was 5th, but he had a good battle with Kevin Collington, who's also on the list. This is his second Ironman.
Yeah, I'm
So
actually very interested in see how Collington does. He had a pretty good race in St. George.
yeah, 4th. He was battling with McMahon
Uh-huh.
and Trevor Wortell for a time. So yeah, he was solid in St. George. So he's fit.
And then only his second Ironman. So hopefully he gathered some experience. I think he did Arizona last year, or I guess last year meaning 2015. But this KPR points, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he was, I think, 8th or 9th in Arizona, something like that. So, and I mean, he didn't have like any sort of epic blow up or anything at Arizona. It was just kind of solid all day long. So, if he kind of executes like that and is another year stronger, he's definitely someone to look out for. I mean, he's got a solid swim. Question mark is, will he stay in touch on the bike? There's no like Uber bikers here. Like last year, Von Honacker was kind of way out in front of everybody. I don't see that this year as much. I think everybody will be a little bit closer together as far as that's concerned. Number 30, Ronnie. I'm wondering if he's racing or not. He was just top 10 at South Africa. I just don't know kind of if for sure if he's going to be here. I couldn't tell from his Twitter. So
He's a bigger guy, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he's a pretty big guy, but man, he can race fast. It just he doesn't look like the typical Ironman triathlete.
No, he gets it done. He used to be a tennis player, like, so he's definitely an athlete for sure. You just wouldn't, and I mean, he's done well in Kona too. So that he's a big guy that can dissipate heat, apparently. Um, and I think someone else to look out for is Will Clark, number 32. He's on the BMC uh, team. And so he's got some good support, and he just did challenge Fuerteventura half, and he did pretty well there.
Let's see here. A couple people that are. It looks like they'll be racing. Pedro Gomes raced Texas, but DNF, so he'll probably be down here. Same thing with Harry Wiltshire. He DNF'd Texas, but he's on the list. So those two possibly will be down there looking for a little Texas revenge per se.
Yeah, Harry Wiltshire has been like on every list. I swear he was on Lanzarote, and then he was on he might be on the France list too. So who the heck knows where he's racing, or maybe the Cairns list. I don't know, but his name's been all over. So if he is racing, he'll be near the front on the swim.
Yeah. I was looking at one more person. Where is he?
We haven't talked much about Tim Don. I mean, he's had some. I mean, he needs to have a good result here to get back to Kona.
Yeah, he usually I would say last year it seems like his 70.3s. He gets a lot of really good 70.3 points
Yeah.
from some bigger races, but not really this year it seems. It seems like he's a little behind.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he got like top 7 or something, he'd probably be all right because, he gets 2 750 point he wins 2 750 point races, that's 1,500 points, and then, the cutoff for the men is lower at like 3,500 or so, so
So yeah,
I
I just
think
looked. He has 3,600 already actually.
oh, so
He
he's fine.
won the 70.3 Brazil, the championship race for 70.3 down there. So that's why he has 1,500 from there. And then
Oh,
Monterey was 750, and he won that. So
okay.
he actually does have two pretty big, points race, points
Right.
70.3 races. So
But I mean, I think it's good to put together a solid race. It's early in the year. You have plenty of time to recover and build back up for Kona. But he didn't have, I mean, he was what, 14th at Kona or something like that. So it
yeah,
was all right.
yeah,
But I mean, I think it's good to put a good one together, know you can do it, and have that confidence into your Kona build. And he's going to have great support down there because he's on the Team Bravo thing. So I think he'll be ready to go, and he's just getting more and more experienced at this Ironman stuff.
yeah. I mean, obviously, one of these people will get an automatic qualification spot to Kona. So you always can have those people that that's their only card. They're so far out that they're playing the card of winning the championship race, and that's probably about it. So you could have somebody go up the front and just go and see what happens, and see how long they can hold on to the lead, or something like that could happen too.
Maybe it'll be Amarelli because he was 4th last year. So just 6 minutes off the win. Had a solid bike and a solid run, and he's a good swimmer. He came out of the water with Brett McMahon, so I think he'll be up front as well. He's racing at home too, and he won here in 2014, so he's not someone that's gonna give up easily, especially at home.
We
So
mentioned bib number 31, Stefan
Schmid,
Schmid.
yeah, he won Cozumel at the end of the year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so he's
Yep.
someone that could be really good too. And he's a German, so I bet you his bike is good.
All right. Do we want to make any picks?
No, let's
We're on a
skip it
hot
this week.
streak, so we don't need to.
Yeah, we'll skip it this week.
Um, any final comments on the women's or men's field?
No, I think you and I were talking earlier about trying to get a handle on are we just being pessimistic, or are these fields like actually lighter than last year? And we need to do some research and kind of figure that out, because it just doesn't seem like you've seen the big names as much this year. And I mean, other things are going on, like Rachel Joyce is pregnant and everything, but I feel like the fields have been more spread out. Like someone like Miranda Carfrey doesn't need to do a championship race to get back. She just needs to validate. And so she can just choose from whatever Ironman she wants to do. So it seems like the championship races haven't been quite as well attended.
Yeah, we obviously talked about that. One thing I was thinking about is, so last year was the first year of the, I think, automatic qualifiers, correct?
Yeah,
And then this year is the second year. So maybe last year was like, oh man, automatic qualifier. And so like that was in everybody's head because it was fresh and new. But now after going through a cycle of the KPR, maybe, after talking with their coaches or them looking at it more, they go, oh, well, maybe it's not as worth it. Sure, one person gets an automatic qualifier spot, but if it might not maybe benefit people as much as they originally thought last year. Obviously, the points are higher, so it sounds like it should,
right,
ultimately. But I mean, from the men's side, like you don't. I mean, you can get enough points by go racing somewhere else. From the female side, I mean, it definitely seems that you would see more high profile females at these races since they need more points. Obviously, top five gets you more than a win in a 2000 Ironman.
right.
So with the weaker fields, possibly a top five is, I don't want to say just as easy, but just as easy as a win and another one, just because of the maybe not a great field.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a whole bunch of stuff. It might just be a weird year. It might be people are starting to get injured and tired and broken down from all this Ironman racing. I mean, I think it works for a bit, and then it just, I mean, your body, we're human. You can't do this mentally and physically all the time forever. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see come, late July, August. It seems like there's always scrambling for those last couple spots, and maybe those people that are scrambling this year, like taking a look at them and looking at what their early season was compared to the some people that qualified, that just snuck in, and seeing how their seasons differed as far as if they were racing the bigger races or they were racing, um, you know, if they were racing early in the season or whatnot.
Yeah, and I mean, with the cancellation in Melbourne, there wasn't even a big race at the early season to hit. The first one was at South Africa. So, we shall see.
Yep. So if anybody wants to do some digging to see if this year's start lists are not as good as last year's start list, hit us up and maybe you guys can help us out.
All right, thank you everyone.
Thanks.